Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our reaction to Grey's Anatomy Season 16, Episode 12, entitled The Last Supper, and we'll preview a little bit of Episode 13. This is a weird episode. I mean, it's barely at the hospital at all. I mean, there's no Meredith, really. There's no, I mean, a good half of the cast just isn't anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, and in some ways it makes for a bit of a more interesting, fun episode because we actually get to do more of a deep dive into a smaller group of the characters.
It's fun in some ways, in other ways it's sort of like, okay, I gotta get answers on this. What's going on with Amelia? Oh, and get your you-know-what together. And,
absolutely.
And then, it's just like, okay, well, we're actually not getting any of that. And we're also still, by the way, not getting any answer on Alex. It's still that Alex is just over at Pac North and he's still running the show.
Yeah, he was at least mentioned, so we know that he's still around.
Yeah, he's still around, but I think this does confirm a lot of the suspicion that it doesn't feel like the Grey's Anatomy writing staff was like altogether aware that Justin Chambers was going to be leaving long in advance.
Yeah.
All right, before we break any of this down, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. So, I mean, I suppose the big reveal of this story is that Richard and Catherine are separating. And, I mean, this makes me sad on a number of different levels, but the biggest one is just that couples just don't stay together on Grey's Anatomy. And it almost feels like that's the norm. And I kind of wish it was a situation where maybe it happens here or there, but that it doesn't happen to, like, the vast majority of couples.
The thing is there felt like there was a lot of resentment between them of stuff that they really hadn't talked about. And it's built up for a while. I mean, we saw at the end everything that was going on with Catherine calling to buy Pac North and out of spite and shut it down, which feels really extreme to put out all these people out of work, take away a hospital from people that need it. There is so much resentment about Richard being there, about Richard feeling that he's not at Grey's anymore, that all these things have just built up into such a huge problem that something like this Gemma thing could have been easily cleared up. It's not about her. Like, to me, it is about these other things.
It's really about almost 10 or 20 different things that have been spread out over the course of a season. I mean, that's why this is not some big jaw-dropping shocker, because if you've watched Grey's for the past year, you could probably sense that eventually this was where it was going to go, in between everything that was going on with Catherine health-wise, to some of the secrets Richard was keeping, to then the Pac North debacle. It was just one thing after another thing after another thing. And then here we are at the anniversary dinner, which really, that just added to the whole debacle nature of this.
It was so miserable, and I totally get why they were feeling like, oh, we gotta kind of pretend and go through the motions, and they didn't want to upset everybody. But neither of them strike me as the type of people that wouldn't have just straight up said what's going on to everybody at that point.
That's one of the weird things about this episode, is that you do sort of have Richard and Catherine sort of playing this game and doing this dance for as long as they do. When, you think about Maggie, you think about Jackson, these are grown adults. These are people who have been through a lot, who have witnessed tragedy, who they're going to be able to handle Richard and Catherine splitting up. And
the only reason that I thought that maybe they were doing this, because like you said, they are adults, everyone's adults, no one's gonna be like, how dare you, was that there was still a little bit of doubt. And we did see that from Catherine when she went to the kitchen and tried to talk to Richard about stuff, and he asked for a genuine apology, and then it just kind of didn't happen. Was, I'm sorry, but. And we've all kind of heard that before. Oh, I'm sorry, but. Well, he's right. That's not really an apology. That is kind of just an excuse. You're not really sorry.
That's like saying, I'm sorry if you were offended.
Yeah, that's also not an apology, right? So it's then putting it back on Richard. So I think that maybe that is why there was a little bit of the charade going on. There was still a tiny bit of, should we really be doing this? But on the other hand, they are all adults. They should have at least just said, listen, guys, we're not going to be celebrating this anniversary because this is happening. So we're glad you're here and let's enjoy dinner or whatever. But, stop with the cheers. Here's some gifts. Tell us how you met.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm not 100% sure that Catherine and Richard stay split up. They are so, both of them have so much going on, and both of them are also so stubborn at times that it could get really, really, really bad, and then all of a sudden they're in sort of the metaphorical storage closet together, and then it heats up again.
I don't know if that whole I'm going to buy your hospital and shut it down and put everyone out of work, put you out of work, put Maggie out of work. I mean, she did just accept that job over there. It's real spiteful and it is really mean, in my opinion. So I don't know if I was Richard, if that is something that I would really be able to get through and accept her back if she ever wanted to come back. That is a real hard line.
I don't think that I would be willing to be altogether forgiving about that. I just don't believe necessarily that Catherine's going to go to that level. I mean, could she buy Pac North? Sure, but I think she's also being heated and spiteful and angry in that moment.
And that happens. People get mad. They say things they don't mean. They do things they don't mean. So I'm hoping she's going to walk this back before it turns into something she can never walk back.
At least walk part of it back. I mean, if you want to go buy Pac North, that's one thing. But, we do have this inevitability that eventually Grey's Anatomy's not going to keep people at separate hospitals forever.
Yep.
So, I mean, this could eventually be the way everyone kind of gets thrown in to the Grey Sloan again. And then we're just left with all of these messy people and their resentment and their anger rolled into one specific place.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to bring everybody back together at some point. So, I mean, if this is the storyline where it's she buys Pac North, she shuts it down, everybody has to move to the one hospital, yes, at least we do have everybody back together. But at the same time, I actually really like the idea of this hospital that's just in disarray. There's dead bodies underneath it. Like, everything is so difficult. And watching a hospital just build from the ground up and seeing if people like Richard and Alex, if he sticks around, and now Maggie, if everyone's able to really pull this hospital together.
That's one of the reasons I'm the most bummed out about Alex leaving, is because the storyline with Pac North, it felt a lot like you have a sports movie about a new coach who's going to just help the ragtag underdogs, and you show up and there's like one kid who doesn't know how to put his jersey on properly, and somebody else is like shooting air balls, and then they end up winning the state championship. And it's like, now, without the fearless leader, where does that story presumably go? I don't know, and it's a little bit just messy, and everything's confusing right now. I mean, there were good, little fun moments here or there in that dinner, but there were two big problems. I mean, one of them is why didn't Catherine and Richard just say something sooner?
Yeah.
And then, the other part of it is it's still hard to wrap my head around the whole Vic and Dean both being there, that this is somehow an idea or something that people would do.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Vic would do this. More than that, I don't understand why Dean would agree to this. I can see that he would want to see her on some other event, any other event. This is like their family anniversary dinner.
Yeah.
Why would he want to go to that as set me up? I could see Dean instead be like, I'd like to be set up, but this is not the time to do that. This is something that's for family. So maybe next time?
I feel like, and not to get too crazy here about the Station 19 of it all, but I feel like this is Grey's Anatomy going a little overboard with the we must get Station 19 synergy in the episodes, because there was such a huge span of time between season 2 and 3 of Station 19. I mean, it only came back a couple weeks ago, and then the first episode was a part of that big crossover, and then these past 2 episodes have been dealing with something else very specific that I won't spoil here if you're behind, but it is just, there hasn't really been that much time to actually get to know where Dean is at this point, that for Grey's Anatomy to be picking it up, a lot of people don't watch Station 19 who watch Grey's.
Yep.
It just all feels a little bit too convenient in that way, and I like the Dean character. It just felt like that part of the story didn't necessarily have to be there.
It just, to me, didn't make sense even for just the Dean character, for any character, unless they were just really desperate to be reconnected with Maggie in any kind of way, to see if there was any kind of chance for any kind of date. It was not the right party for that, or the right event for that. I just can't see someone like Dean working this out in his head, being like, okay, so we're going to have an anniversary party, so we're going to have these 2 parents there, we're going to have Maggie there, we're going to have Jackson there, that's already awkward, you're going to be there with Jackson, so that's also going to be awkward with what's going on with Maggie. This is the time that I want to come and I want to, like, see where things are with Maggie.
There is one benefit. Free food. This is something that
that food better be like 5-star to get me into a situation like that.
I have gone to events before solely based on the promise of free food.
Would you go to that one?
I would not go to that.
You would not go to that one.
I would.
What if there was blackberry cobbler? I know how much you like
blackberry
that
cobbler is actually my favorite cobbler.
I
so
know.
if they had told me there was going to be blackberry cobbler,
really?
No, not really. But I would think about it for like a split second, and then I would be like, okay, no.
My favorite food is duck or anything with lavender on it, and this could be a lavender covered duck, and I would not go to this.
Here's what you do: you get your friend to just try to find a way to sneak out of there with the pan of blackberry cobbler and bring it back to you. Blackberry cobbler makes the world better. I'll say the other story.
Put some lavender on it.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody wins. The other storyline in this episode is what's going on with Levi and, his Uncle Saul. And this, it was smaller in nature, but I think this was actually pretty powerful. It's the sort of thing that does make you want to root for Levi a little bit more. He's that underdog at the hospital, and he's the underdog in life. He just can't ever really seem to find that place where things are just okay and he's accepted and he's surrounded by people who are fully supportive.
Yeah, and that's why it was cool to learn that his uncle was supportive of him, already knew everything that was going on, and we got to meet, the uncle's love and sort of just that idea of acceptance, and how, not that Levi necessarily takes it for granted, but just that things are so different now that he has an opportunity to be able to kind of just be out there, have his love, live his life. It is a very different time. So it was very cool at the end to see him go back and talk to his mom and just say, and we're out. I love you. Thank you for what you've done for me, but it is time.
I'm worried still about Schmidt moving forward because it is all of this change in his life so soon. Everything that happens in this episode, he's going to be kind of untethered to this life he knew. If something goes awry with Nico, what happens to him there?
Sometimes you need to be kicked into the deep end to be able to swim, and this might be just that time. He may have had that motivation with his uncle dying, that it's like he's found a new breath of life.
And I hope that's true for him. I want to see Levi have everything. The guy deserves it, given his history at the hospital of things going awry with him.
It was just nice to be nice to see a little upswing. It doesn't have to be everything is perfect for him, but just that little bit of an upswing to give him like little spots of confidence.
Yeah. Well, let's look ahead briefly here to episode 13. First of all, this is my finger wag at ABC for the promo that they put on tonight, which was just like, hey, look, everyone, it's another pseudo crossover with Station 19. It's like, okay, this is going to encompass maybe like 5 minutes of the Grey's Anatomy episode. I don't think you need to watch Station 19 to get what's coming.
No, probably not. And I feel like while I understand why they're doing this,
yeah.
they really need to just let Station 19 breathe.
Yeah.
It needs to just be its own show. Have a nice breath, and make it so that when there's a crossover with these shows, it's really something special, that it's an event like they do with the Chicago series, that it's like, oh man, this is going to be a big event. But now it just feels like these shows are being so tethered together that it's kind of taking away some of that sparkle.
Don't Low Winter Sun the situation. And by this, I mean, when Breaking Bad was near the end of its road, AMC decided that they were going to push this new show called Low Winter Sun and sort of place it in between Breaking Bad and other stuff people wanted to see.
Yeah, it was like Breaking Bad and then like the after show of Breaking Bad, and they jammed this show right in the middle to try to force people to like this show, watch this show, and the show got sunk.
I remember at one point there was even a situation where they would air the previews for the next Breaking Bad or something in the middle of Low Winter Sun, and it was just sort of, don't make Station 19 associated with just angry Grey's Anatomy fans who want to have their own thing. Let Station 19 be its own thing. But all right, couple of plot points for Grey's Anatomy next week.
Yep.
We're going to see more of Sarah Rafferty and Suzanne, that patient that DeLuca is going to be continuing to struggle with. She's back. She has a big role coming up for at least a couple more episodes, presumably. And we're going to find out the results, seemingly, of Amelia's test and where things go from there. And then Joe and Amelia may even have some conflict over what's happening and how Joe feels that Link is being treated.
Yep.
You know, Joe and Link, they go way back. She's going to protect her friend.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's a conversation that needs to happen. I mean, there's a lot that's going on, and I understand there's a lot going on for Amelia too, and she's pregnant, she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And she eventually usually comes around to doing the right thing, and now she is as well, but it did take for Link, who seems like he's mostly kind of just like, yeah, whatever, you know, let's go with the flow, let's figure it out, let's try to be positive about things and move things forward, that he did come forward in the last episode and say he wants paternity test. Everybody deserves to know this is where we are. So I think that conversation with Joe and Amelia needs to happen.
You know what else needs to happen? Alex. Give us an Alex update next week already. There's only so long we can drag this out. But let's hear from you guys. What did you think about episode 12 of season 16 tonight? And where do you think we're going next? Let us know in the comments, and if you did like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us more by checking the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.